Welcome everyone. My name is Vojta Jina and I work on AngularJS. And today I would like to talk a little bit about testing JavaScript and especially about running the tests and running them fast. So at Google we really believe in testing, and on AngularJS team it's even worse. We are like crazy about testing. Like every feature on Angular has been designed with testability in mind so that it's easy to test. And we try really hard to, help people to make their code testable, and we ship Angular with all the helpers and tools to make testing easier. And that's not something that we just made up. That's because testing works really well for us, right? And I really think that one of the core reasons why testing works that well for us is that we have really good environment. Things like CI servers, so whenever I push a commit, it will generate the whole documentation, build Angular, run all the tests on different browsers, and all kinds of things like that. And more than that, we keep seeking for even better environment every day. Like, we're not happy with what we have, and we're trying to improve these things all the time. And some time ago, we were not happy with the way we were running the test. We were not happy with the test runner we had, and so we decided to write our own tool, our own test runner that would fit all the needs that we have. And we've called it Testacular, which stands for Spectacular Test Runner. And I'm really excited to be here and to see all these people, and I'm looking forward to show it to you, and I hope you can take an advantage of it as well. Because if it works well for us, I hope it might work well for at least some of you. And so before we try it how it works, and before I show it before I do some demo how it works, let me actually quickly go through the reasons. What were the reasons why we decided to create our own test runner? So the first requirement was it has to be fast. And by fast, I mean, like, I'm talking about milliseconds or a couple of seconds. I don't want to wait for all the unit tests to run more than a couple of seconds. And that is really important, because once you have this, it kind of enables like new way of development, where instead of moving back and forward, if you're developing JavaScript, very often you just keeps moving back and forward between your text editor and browser, and you are fiddling with inside Web Inspector and trying things out, right? So once you have a tool like that where you can execute these things really fast, there's no reason to go to a browser, because you can stay in your text editor and just try things out, and you will immediately see what is the result. So speed was the first requirement. Another requirement, which is probably not that obvious, was using real browsers. There are tools that you can run JavaScript in Node.js, for instance. Like Mocha is a test framework which has its own test runner that runs your code in Node.js, which is really fast and it's great. Or even at Google we have a testing framework that runs on the top of V8. Again, that's fast and it's stable. That's cool. But the trouble is that Dome, especially Dome, has there are a lot of inconsistencies between different browsers. And do you know Angular? Like all these custom directives and custom components and elements. Basically, the whole Angular compiler is just tons of DOM manipulations. And in order to make sure that this works across the browsers, we just have to execute it on real browsers. So that was like must-have for us. And it actually turns out that there are some more advantages when you're using real browsers. So, for instance, when you're using real browser like Chrome, Firefox, or whatever, these browsers have some tools. For instance, Debugger. So, and once you are using this browser, you can take advantage of all these tools as well. Or another advantage is that, you know, the communication with the browser happens just through HTTP. So you can basically you can test any device, for instance, your phone, your tablet, or there's a project on YouTube, then they actually use Testacular to run their tests on PlayStation 3 because that's their target device, right? So it uses real browsers. And the last thing, it should be stable. That's probably obvious, but that's probably based on our previous experience, because before that we were using something called JS Test Driver. And honestly, the core idea of Testacular is very similar to JS Test Driver, and that's something that was here like 3 years ago, you know. And I really think that the idea is awesome. It's a great idea, but unfortunately, the implementation didn't work that well for us. Like it was really flaky. It was really easy to get it into inconsistent state where you would have to restart it all the time, and that resulted in wasting a lot of time. So Testacular solves these issues. Like if you have syntax error, it's not a problem at all. I mean, it fails obviously, but the next run is okay. Or things like you can let your laptop in sleep mode and then you wake it up and it will reconnect. You could even run it several days in a row without restarting it, it's fine. So stability was another requirement. All right, I think these were the core reasons why we decided to write our own tool. And now I hope I can show you how it works. So let me... Okay, so I don't know why, but... Does anyone know how to bring up terminal without alt stop working? No, myslím, že bych potřeboval zapnout můj iTerm, ale... Command Alt Escape. Yeah, but... Okay, I'll try to force quit it and... Wow. Yeah, that unfortunately, I don't know why, but that doesn't work. Oh, okay. I don't know why my other shortcuts doesn't work, but thank you so much for help. All right, so now I have my command line, I'm really happy about that. I've never realized before how command line is actually cool and useful, I can tell you. So this is just for an example, this is Angular source code. So I'm going to show you how I run our unit test on Angular. So I'm going to start Testacular by doing Testacular Start. And what happens in the background, Testacular automatically launch a browser. You can configure which browser you want. I really don't know why all the shortcuts doesn't work, but and here is what happens. Another thing that happens is this Testacular just started watching my file system, all the files of my projects, and whenever I change any of those files, it will immediately notice that and run all the tests in the browser that is somewhere in the background, and I don't care about it. So watch this. I save this file. I changed something, and I save this file, and you can see down here immediately it starts executing the unit test. And you can see I just executed almost 1,600 unit tests, all the Angular unit tests in something under 3 seconds, which is not bad, but I think it's still kind of a lot. So to be honest, what I usually do when I'm developing something, let's say this is HTTP service, some part of Angular, and what I can do. This unit test is written in Jasmine testing framework. That's, by the way, I think that's a good point. Testacular is a test runner, so it's not a testing framework. You can use it pretty much with any testing framework you like. So in this case, I'm using Jasmine, but you can use Mocha or QUnit or whatever you want. And what I can do, I can use ddescribe, and that will just execute just this test suite. So now if I press save, it just executed all the unit tests related to this service. So obviously it was faster. It was like 100 milliseconds or something. Let me show you. Let's fail some unit tests. For instance, let's expect different value. So whenever I save, I immediately see there is something wrong. I see the error expected value, and I got value SS. If I fix it back, there you go. It's passing back. What is interesting thing is, I think, really helpful. Helper function is something we call dump, and that basically allows you to dump some value from the browser into your screen. So maybe actually we should go to the code rather than test. Inside this parse header function, let's dump the value of the key. So I do dump like this, and I immediately, here in the console, I can see the value that is coming from the real browser. Right? There is a real browser in the background executing, so I can use all the browser APIs and stuff, like, I don't know, what is the size of the window and stuff. Right. What I can do even more, I'm not sure I can manage that without shortcuts, but I could capture even multiple browsers, right? So I can just open another browser and capture it manually. I can point it to local port where Testacular is listening. And now I'm gonna, whatever I run, it's gonna be, all the tests will be executed in both of these browsers, so I can actually see the difference. So this is very helpful. For instance, if you are debugging some IE issues or something, I can capture both browsers, and then I just dump this value, and you can see here the first value is coming from my Safari, and the other value is coming from Chrome. Right, and you can compare, and you can see what are the different values on different steps. I would like to show you debugging, but this is really sad. Okay, so I talked about the advantage of using real browsers, that you can use all these tools within browser. For instance, Debugger. So what you can do, you can put here debugger statement, And now if I press save, it will start executing. Unfortunately, it's difficult to find the... Let's do this. Okay, there you go. So I just jump into the browser, and now I can step the function whatever I want. I get the full debugger that is in Chrome, right? I can watch expression, I have the call stack, I can step into functions and all this kind of stuff. If you have some nice IDE, like for instance WebStorm has support for that, you can actually debug directly from the IDE, you know, any unit test you want. All right. I think this is enough example because I'm kind of getting scared of my laptop. So, do you have any questions about it? Like, you know, the whole project is the whole project is on GitHub. It's open source, and there is tons of features that I didn't show you, but I don't think that's the point of this demo. Like you can write your code in CoffeeScript. You can use require.js. There is a bunch of tools for Angular, like Angular specific things. But other than that, it's not coupled to Angular. You can use it pretty much with any JavaScript thing you want. All right, so if you don't have questions, okay. Oh yeah, that's one of the features that I didn't mention, but yeah, thanks for reminding me. You can actually, it integrates very well with the Jenkins. For instance, we use it on Angular, we use it on our CI server, which runs Jenkins. So you can use it in CI mode where it has a reporter for a JUnit XML format so that Jenkins can parse that. Yeah, that works pretty well. So our CI server is a Mac, so we run IE on a virtual machine. But you can run this thing on Windows as well if you are brave. It's kind of sad, but like all these issues that I'm having are, I don't know, for some reason all the common shortcuts doesn't work. Really don't know why. I think it's because the video adapter is plugged in. I don't know why, because it worked before, but anyway. Any more questions, or can I? That's okay. I think we can even finish earlier. Let me finish this with a quick story, because we have this project, YouTube on TV. It's really cool project in AngularJS, and a few weeks ago we were helping the team debugging some performance issues. And I realized that they had like 100 unit tests or something, and that's not that many. I mean, for instance, DFA, it's kind of a huge project, but they have about 4,000 of unit tests. So I was really curious, like, why don't they write unit tests? And when I saw their environment and what does that mean to write unit tests, how tricky it is, and how slow it is to run these tests and add new tests and all these things. I was kind of like, yeah, I understand. And they basically end up not writing tests at all. And so the week after that, we helped them to set up their environment with Testacular. And it was really amazing for me because in like 3 days or something, Tyler sent me an email, the one guy from the team, saying like, Vojta, this shit is awesome. It's like we test drive everything now, you know. And in like 3 days, I believe they had like 400 unit tests in 3 days. So they wrote 100 unit tests in 1 year, and then it took them 3 days to write another 300 unit tests. And the thing is that I think it's really important to spend time and figure out what is the best environment for you. You know, no matter what tools you use. I mean, you can use Testacular, but you can use whatever works for you. But the point is that I think it's really worth it spending the time to figure out the best environment for you, because eventually it will save you a lot of time. And I think that's all what I have. So thank you a lot for watching.